Hey, what's going on there everyone? Today we are going to be covering this plugin called Konquest, and this is actually free. You can go download it on Spigot, and it is working on versions 1.16 and 1.17. This video is going to be pretty in-depth because there's quite a bit of core features that I'm going to be covering, and it is basically a new game mode come to light, kind of a mixture of Towny and factions, bring it together, and it's a very cool concept actually. So this is Konquest, and there's going to be chapters, of course, that you can see different progressions. But a few things before we get started in the video is that you need to have these dependencies of Vault, Protocol Lib, as well as some sort of economy plugin. I will be using Essentials X for this, and due to the new nature of this plugin, because it's pretty much a brand new style, I do highly recommend going over the wiki. Due to this video being a little bit longer, I will be trying to cover most of it, but it's best to go look at the wiki as well, and of course join their Discord for extra support. So let's go ahead and install this plugin and we'll get ready. So we'll go to my server. If you guys need a server, you can check out SoulNode. That link will be down in the description. We're going to go to our plugins here, and we're just going to type in Konquest, and we can clearly see, yes, this is the right one with the correct version. And let's go ahead and install that, and then we can come back and restart our server, and we'll go ahead and jump in game. So here we are in game, and before we get into doing all the commands and everything, let me go ahead and explain to you what this plugin actually is. So here we have a representation. I'll put it on picture. Essentially, we're gonna be having kingdoms, capitals, and towns, and so admins can make these predefined kingdoms. So players cannot make any kingdoms. This is all done by the administrator or admin, so just keep that in mind. So say, for example, we have like a pig kingdom and a chicken kingdom. So say we have those two kingdoms, and then in those kingdoms we're going to be having this monument. The monuments must be a 16 by 16 structure, alright, so that is the dimension, and they must contain obsidian blocks in them. So the obsidian blocks are basically the life source of that specific monument or town. Once all those 12 blocks have been destroyed, then the enemy is basically destroy the town and captured it for their own specific kingdom. So say this was a pig kingdom and then the sheep came in and destroyed all the blocks, then it would be transferred over to the sheep kingdom. So that is how that works. You can also place a chest which will randomly generate items for the home team, so that is a good additional thing to have. So in my opinion, I think this is a great mix of various different types of game modes kind of put into one here, and we're going to head and get into the main command now. So the main command for this is /k, that will bring up your main menu. This is mainly for players so they can have their own interface to do. You can also do khelp as well as kadmin, and that is for your administrative side. So I'm going to head and run through the setup of how you going to make your kingdom. So to do that, we can go ahead and find a spot that we want. If you don't have your monument already pre-built, you can just go ahead and stand in a spot, and that will make your specific kingdom and capital in the location you're standing. So we can do kadmin, and then we're going to make a kingdom, and we're going to call this pig. Alright, so that is going to be the pig capital, and it's very nice that you have these particle effects, which basically already claims in a specific chunk radius. So as you see, we can follow those particles, and that looks really nice. You can also turn on F3 and G to see the specific chunk radius. As you see, it just claimed one chunk for us. So we need to encompass basically our whole monument structure, or a place where you're going to build one. And to do that, we can just do kadmin, we can claim, and we can do a radius. And I'm going to do a radius of 3 because that's usually pretty good. And then to see that specific area, we can do /k map, and that is very helpful. As you see, we have this nice chunk of radius that we have claimed, and if we go to the very end here, we'll also see the particles appear right there. If you happen to go out into the wild and then try to come back in, it's going to say, hey, you cannot enter this kingdom's capital, and we need to go ahead and do our admin bypass because we're setting up everything. So we can do kadmin bypass, and there we go. Now we can come back into this kingdom. Once you have claimed your specific areas, we need to go ahead and set up our monument. So the monument has to be 16 by 16, has to be in that specific radius area, and then also has to contain our obsidian, so make sure it has 12 blocks of obsidian inside your structure. And then you can also place a chest. The chest is not required, but the obsidian blocks are, so make sure you have 12 of them, and I have 12 of them all set up, so I'm good to go. And now we can go ahead and select our specific area. We need to run the command kadmin, and then you can do monument, and then we need our name, which is our pig kingdom, and now we need the create. So once you do this, basically like world edit, we need to select our specific block, and then we're going to select our location. This orange particles, as you see right here, that represents that you need to go a little bit farther to reach your 16 by 16, and it's going to be detected by wherever you're looking. So I'm going to head and look right here. If I look a little bit farther past 16, that represents, hey, you've gone past this 16, and that will turn red. But then if we look back, it's going to turn green. So now we actually need to get our other dimension, which is going to be this side. So once we have it right here, there we go. It is green on both sides. Oops, I need to look right there. So it is green on both sides. That means that is the correct dimensions. Now we need to go up, and I have a block placed up here, so make sure it's still solid green, and it's best to look down at the ground for your specific dimensions because it will look at wherever you're looking, so just be aware of that. And we're going to look at this specific block, and we can go ahead and left click, and then that will go ahead and select that area. Now we need to click on a travel point, and a travel point essentially is your home spawn location for your specific area. So I'm going to do it about right here, and we'll just click that, and there we go. Now we have our monument template created. So once you have all that set up, we can go ahead and do kadmin, and we can go ahead and save everything, so that is good to go. If you want to double check your specific area, we can do kadmin, and then we can do monument, and then we need to do the name, and we can do show. Alright, and that's going to show our location that we have, and that looks pretty good, so that's perfect. So I'm going to come over here, and we should be able to make a new kingdom. So we already had our pig kingdom. Let's go ahead and make a sheep. So we can do kadmin, basically the same thing. We can do make kingdom, and we'll do sheep. Alright, so there we go. Now we have created our sheep one, and this is in our specific capital area. And if you want it to have a specific spawn point, what we can do is we can do kadmin and then set travel, and that's going to set the spawn point for that specific capital. Now remember, we need to go ahead and claim the specific area, so we can do kadmin. Then we can go ahead and claim a little bit more of a radius, so we'll do radius of 3, and that should be good. If we do kmap, that looks perfect. And then basically we're repeating the process, so you could easily make a schematic and transfer it over. I'm just going to be lazy and just put in our different areas of obsidian. So we need 12, remember, so there we go, 12 like that. And we can also place a chest. The chest is optional, as I mentioned, but that is going to be our our monument right here. Now we need to go ahead and select our monument area, so we can do kadmin monument, and then this is going to be for our sheep, and we can do create. So let's see, now we need to, I think we'll do it about start from right here, and then we'll just look this way, and then we're just kind of basing it off, so we need to go a little bit more. So we just passed the green, so our area is right there, so I'm going to head and go up like 5 blocks, and we'll enter that. Now we can click on the spawn point, and I'm going to set it about right there. So there we go, now we have our 2 kingdoms and our capitals and monuments set up. So now I'm going to head and join on my alt account, and I'll show you how this works as a player. So here is the other account, and a few things you might notice is that his name is red in tab as well as over his head, and as well as in chat. As you see, it is red, so that actually represents that he is in an enemy town, and I am a barbarian because I am in the yellow. So that is something that is already preset up with Konquest, and of course you can change it all in a config if you don't like the representations of the color, or if you don't want it to be shown, etc. So he is in another town already. He's in the sheep one over there. So I'm gonna head and join K, and then we can just do K to bring up your main menu. So this is what players are going to be able to see, and then they can join the specific one that they want. So if we do, let's do the pig. So it's the opposite one. So once you join, you're going to be greeted with this quest login. Players can actually earn a favor, which is essentially that custom economy that is going to be using Vault as well as Essential X to basically give them that specific favor, which is basically $50. And then players can claim all these certain quests, which is pretty cool, and give them objectives during the game. So once we are in here, we can actually use some various commands. So there is a very nice travel command, and so what the travel does is it actually allows you to teleport to various things. So capital and home is sort of basically the same thing, and then you also have a /wild. So currently my balance is 0, and to travel it's like $1 to $2 or 1 to 2 points essentially. So I'm going to head and give everyone on the server, we'll give everyone like $1,000. So that's going to give everyone there. So we can do the travel command and we can actually teleport to the wild. So this is actually pretty cool, it gives you a nice random location. And when it teleports you to the wild, a good idea to do is /k map. That will actually give you ability to see if you can actually settle in that specific location. This proximity, I believe, is 16 chunks from your capital, and it has to be between 16 and 99. So we are already past that limit, so we can't settle. So it has to be in that specific area. But this proximity settings can be changed all in the config, and you can see on their wiki which specific value it does contain, and it's very well documented, but you can change all of that, so just bear that in mind. So I'm going to actually travel back to my specific home location, and we'll come back to my capital, and I'm just going to manually fly out here about 16 chunks away. So let's see. Oh yeah, the server is working pretty well. So I'm going to run the K map again, and there we go. We're actually 44 chunks away, so we generated that pretty fast, and this actually looks like a pretty flat area. So once you have the ability to settle, it has to be within 3 blocks difference, like the ground height. So there can't be any trees or anything, and it has to be pretty flat for the most part. But let's run the command K settle. So we can do K settle, and now we need the name. I'm just going to call this Jeff. Alright, so we'll call it Jeff, and your chunk area is not flat enough, so we actually need to make it more flat. So it looks like our height issue is right over here, so I'm just going to head and break these blocks, and then we should be able to settle this area because of that 3 block difference. So let's go ahead and try that again. And there we go, now it has made that monument template that we had for our specific kingdom, and we also got a reward because we did our fresh start objective. So now this is my specific town, alright? So that is really cool that we have our own town, and then of course now this is our own town. If we come up here, we should have our loot that has already been generated, and there we go, we actually got 4 pumpkins, and it says come back later for more loot, and I will definitely do that. And of course you can make it more OP items if you want to. So if I do K map again, it already claimed this specific area of chunk, and the more favor or the more money you have, the more you can claim. So if players can do claim, K claim, and then they can do auto. Essentially you can walk around to the specific chunks. So if we see this green line, that is our chunk border radius. So if I actually do come outside to the wild and do K claim auto, it's going to be enabled, and we can basically fly around and claim in our chunks, which is pretty cool. So we can claim all this, and there we go, we already leveled up for a new quest, and that's the easiest thing. And look at that, we actually made an accomplishment, which a new prefix. Pretty cool stuff, guys. So I went ahead and disable that, so you just run the same command to disable, and then we can see our chunk areas, and that is perfect. So there we go, now this is our specific town, which is amazing. So you can settle multiple towns for your kingdom, which is pretty cool. So you can have it all spread out. You can have your buddies claim alongside you, or all that good stuff to make more land. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to teleport the sunniest gorilla over here, and this is going to be a raid. So that's going to be enemy spotted. It has a nice little cool alert that it gives you. So then players or your teammates can actually come travel to that specific town name. So we can travel to Jeff, and it's going to teleport us to our home location that we set at the very beginning. Remember, we made that template. So then you can come up here, and then you can fight off the enemies, all that good stuff. When enemies come in your territory, they'll automatically be added to mining fatigue to give them a little bit of a disability. But I'm going to head and break some blocks over here. So as you see, we're breaking these blocks, and it has our criticals hit, and you can see how low your specific tower or your town has been damaged by. So they can, remember, they can break all the blocks here. Actually, they can destroy quite a bit of things within your specific town, and then you can defend it with your pride and joy. So you're like, get out of here, dude, and you can have a whole bunch of great PvP montages and fights and all that good stuff. So that is how you can basically defend your specific town. So you can actually upgrade your specific towns as well. So you can do K town and then the town name, and then you can actually add players to them. So if you basically want to invite them, or you can kick them, or you can basically give them a membership. So this is the knight, or ownership, which is lord, or you can just have it open so anyone can join. And then you can rename it. We can also do a shield. So I actually really like the shield. It really makes it so that enemies can't break anything, but you have to do this before you actually are attacked. And then we can go to the next page, and you also have the armor, basically more defense for you. And then let me open up the upgrade menu here. So we can also have upgrades. So you have better monument loot, you can get better animal drops. You also have mining fatigue, so the enemy already gets mining fatigue, counter intelligence, health, prevent damage, town watch, as well as better enchants. So those are your upgrades for your towns that you can do. So now we can see what it looks like when we're attacking a specific town. So here is this red border, and we need to go in, and here is the meow. So we need to go ahead and knock out some of these obsidian blocks. So we have mining fatigue, as you see right here. That's automatically applied when you enter enemy territory. And we can go ahead and PvP in here as well. Let me go ahead and knock out all these obsidian blocks, and let's see, one more to go. Boom, there we go. So now we actually have conquered this, and we have made it into a pig kingdom now, which is so cool. So now we have conquered the town called Meow for the pig kingdom. And if we do K map, as you see, we have now conquered that, which is awesome, and it put up our own custom monument here that we have for our specific kingdom, and it kicked everyone else out. So that's really cool. I actually really like this concept of you can go ahead and destroy and raid others, and it brings up your own monuments, and now we have a new town under our specific kingdom. So really fun stuff here, guys, and that's kind of the basics of how everything works. A few other additional commands I just want to go over is that you can actually do an info command of a player and of a specific town. So for example, if you look at Meow, so it lists the specific kingdom that it's in, the specific lord, so that who's in charge of it, how many invites, and then you also see the properties. So this one is protected, and then you can see the specific properties. You also have the health and the land and the population. And if we actually do info on myself here real quick, we can see what kingdom we're in, and then we also see how much score we have, which is pretty cool. So you can see how much land, all that, specific neighborhoods, residents, all that amazing stuff. So you can totally have like a monthly payout basis, very similar to like Skyblock payouts or factions payouts. Basically, whoever conquers the more land, that team will get a certain amount of payouts or whatever you want set up. So it's actually a pretty cool concept, not gonna lie. I actually really enjoy it, and it's great for your survival game mode. So anyways, hope you did enjoy. I know this was very in-depth, but leave a like down below. Go try this plugin out for yourself. I will see you guys in the next video. Have a good one. Peace out.